this lab, we decided to make a muscle model of the Popliteus muscle out of the following materials: hinge, wire, spring,
wooden rods.
The Popliteus muscle is responsible for knee stability. This muscle is a thin, flat, triangular-shaped muscle that acts only on the knee. Running diagonally, the Popliteus muscle is the deepest of the posterior knee region.
During open chain knee flexion movement, the Popliteus muscle rotates the tibia medially while in closed chain position. The Popliteus laterally rotates the femur. Overall, during knee flexion, the Popliteus muscle drags the lateral meniscus posterior to prevent injury.
So in non-scientific terms, this means that the Popliteus muscle, it rotates our lower leg, so below your knee, and one of those bones medially, which means towards the center of our body. And then it also laterally, which means outside of our body, away from the center, it laterally rotates our femur. And so then during knee flexion, the Popliteus muscle drags the lateral meniscus, which is our outer muscle that protects kind of our knee area, and that it does that to protect from injury.
Here's how the Popliteus muscle looks on your leg. This is the Popliteus muscle in action.
First, the Popliteus muscle was researched. Then, lever types were looked into. It was found this model to be a third-class lever, meaning that the input force is closer to the fulcrum than the weight. Next, even-length rods were measured then sawed. A power drill was used with safety equipment to attach the door hinge to the two rods. Notches were sawed into the wood so that wire could be wrapped around in order to hold the spring on the model.
Okay, so this is our model. This is our muscle here, connecting to the upper leg bone and running across the wooden stick, which represents both the tibia and the fibula. This hinge here is our knee joint, and the wire is sort of like the places where the muscle attaches to the bone by tendon.
The experiment demonstrates the Popliteus' ability to balance the leg, and that it is a class 3 lever system, much like the bicep muscle. The model, however, is not a perfect representation because the lower leg has two bones, the tibia and fibula, in it, while this one only has one. Since this model only has one bone, it cannot have any rotation.
Should this model be repeated, the hinge would be replaced with one of a smaller size. The current hinge interfered in some way with the spring's movement, so a smaller one would allow it to move more freely. Another improvement that could be made could be with the attachment of the spring to the wooden body. Staples could be used because the wire was difficult to tighten, even with the addition of the notches in the wood, and this made the system weaker. Square wood, as opposed to round wood, would be more favorable the second time around because the screws were difficult to attach to the round wooden rod. Additionally, it is vital to the system that the screws be drilled in the middle of the rod so that the Popliteus model is sturdier.
Alright, models like this one, and this model itself, allow us to better understand our own muscles and how they work from a physics standpoint. This can be really important to anyone who uses their body, but it's especially important to athletes and other people who use their body more often. Yep.
Understanding the purpose of the Popliteus and the way that it functions inside the human body is vital to preventing injurious action.